off and running, Leonard F. Chikarason. I am Lightning Mike Quackenbush, a little short on breath tonight, but pleased to be here for the main event. The first time one-on-one encounter between Homicide and our own Eddie Kingston. It is happening right now.
It's a dream match, no matter how you slice it. A first-time encounter here, and Eddie Kingston has been having a great 2010. But a call could come up short here, taking on the Chikara debuting notorious 187 Homicide.
Some real high-profile matches for Eddie Kingston throughout the season. Of course, in here, this ring he has faced Christopher Daniels. Also, when we were out in the Midwest, he faced off with Daniel Bryan Danielson, as you may know him. And now in here with Homicide, a guy from his neck of the woods. These two New Yorkers, both known for their smash mouth style. And you can see each man taking the measure of the other. Now, they have faced off in tag team contests before, but to the best of my knowledge, Leonard, they have never had a singles contest. You can see using the double wrist lock to his advantage here is Homicide.
That is correct. There have been other encounters where other people have been involved, multi-man contests, as you mentioned, Mike. But this is the only time ever that these two have faced off one-on-one, and I'm very excited to see how this one turns out.
Call of the break is senior official Bryce Remsburg, and both of these men here coming back, I can certainly sympathize with, trying to wrestle through a broken rib tonight, which is probably not one of the smarter moves I've made recently. Eddie Kingston coming back off a knee injury from last month, and Homicide actually been taking quite a bit of time off to heal up a number of nagging injuries. So neither of these men, I'm sure, you can see the left shoulder of Homicide is taped up. Neither man at 100%, but both willing to give 100% in the ring. This is such a very, very important match, especially for Kingston here. He likes to call Chikara his home. He cannot afford to be embarrassed by the just debuting Homicide.
And you see both these men kind of taking a little bit of slow going here. You mentioned before about the smash mouth offense of both of these competitors. Right now, it's a little bit of a feeling out process with Homicide in control here. He's got the arm trapped with Kingston.
Very sound technical game there by Homicide. He used not only the side headlock, but trapped the left arm of Kingston. Kingston used the head scissor to negotiate his way free. And you can see he has it expertly applied. I do know the guy that trained Kingston, by the way. Expertly applied by Eddie Kingston to Homicide, who right out, great job there. He's got almost a Kamigami, trying to come forward. He wants control of the head once again. Kingston tries to cover up, but the left arm, Homicide, of course, very, very smart there. Essentially the crippler crossface applied. Right across the bridge of the nose. Advantage to Homicide. Kingston trying to get back to a base here. And he does. He takes out the leg. From that defensive posture, Homicide works his way backward to the bottom rope.
Oh, Homicide could be losing his cool here a little bit, and we can see this little back and forth here exchange go right out the window. Homicide known to have a temper. They don't call him the notorious 187. You know, those numbers don't mean, I love you or something like that.
They don't?
No, they do not. They mean he's gonna kill somebody if he loses his cool. But Kingston's
Wikipedia page is totally misleading then.
Kingston not above, he's got a short fuse too. So
yes, both these guys short tempers, and I'm sure as this thing begins to break down a little bit, you're going to see their tempers flare. No dice on the shoulder block. I would say weight advantage to Kingston. And he sidestepped him, and Homicide took Kingston right out. And Homicide is poised. Baseball slide kick. Here he goes! Goes tumbling right down the apron and somersaults it, hitting him with his back and rising to the mat. Or not the mat at all, the concrete floor, Leonard.
Almost into that table there, very precarious, both men here on the floor. Bryce is putting the count on him, but Homicide breaks that by throwing Kingston back in the ring. And now Homicide in control of this contest, but King, from a kneeling position, firing away at the midsection of Homicide. You mentioned before about Kingston's knee injury. We can very obviously see Homicide having that shoulder injury. He also has a very severe groin injury that he should be finishing off the rest of the year without any competition from how severe it is.
Those are dreadful. Groin injuries are simply dreadful. Actually, most injuries are dreadful. I want to put that out there. Kingston, you can see, and he's always had problems, even since his training, as you can see it right now. He's had nerve issues down his whole left arm, and this is a smart strategy, whether Homicide knows this about Kingston or not. He has had nerve issues all throughout his left arm, dating back to his formative days at the Wrestle Factory, and you'll often see in matches when he loses feeling in his fingertips, the way he flexes his hand in an effort to recover feeling. This is, one way or another, a smart move by Homicide.
Oh, and Homicide now fighting Kingston on the ear, it looks like.
Nothing romantic about that, Tysoning up the side of Kingston's face. And you can start to see the very vicious side. No surprise, the man's called Homicide. To the detriment of one Eddie Kingston, who brings up his boot and manages to create some space for him to strike. And this is what Kingston needs, room to strike. The STO, space takedown, Ogawa. The calling card of Naoya Ogawa, former NWA heavyweight champion and MMA master from Japan. And Kingston now, it's the ropes, and rides him right into the retaining barrier. And that could be very bad news for Homicide if his left shoulder contacted the steel.
And you see Kingston still favoring that shoulder as well. But he took a chance and it paid off here. He's back in control. Now he's fighting Homicide in the air. Turnabout fair play, I guess.
Philly faithful have seen Eddie Kingston weather some wars in the last few seasons here, but most notably throughout season 9 here of Chikara, where he has gone toe-to-toe with many of the world's finest wrestlers in this very ring. And it would really be the cherry on top if he could finish out this last night in Philadelphia with a win over the notorious 187.
Nice to know that overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Only a 2 count though, says Bryce Remsburg.
Eddie Kingston was renowned for his suplexes as well as his strikes. That back fist, the Hurricane technique as it's known, the back fist of the future is what he calls it. That is his calling card, but take a look right here. The stretch plum, the calling card of the late Plum Mariko in Japan, has been applied. Of course, made famous by Toshiaki Kawada, one of Kingston's idols from All Japan Pro Wrestling. An incredibly painful hold. And Kingston trying to buy himself some time. You can see the left arm still giving him trouble, Leonard, as he tries to corner Homicide here and buy some time to recuperate.
Just choking him in the corner here, taking full advantage of the count. He has until 5 before this match could be thrown out at the discretion of the official. Now Homicide fighting back when Kingston needed the midsection, taking all the wind out of Homicide's sails. Follows it up with that nice suplex at the center of the ring.
It was one of Kingston's hallmarks, the suplexes, and now crossface hitting Homicide. Look at it, right across the eyes there. Homicide kicks out.
Trying to use that wrist bone, very little meat, very little skin, driving that right into the eye of Homicide.
Especially you can make the eye swell up there in the corner, start to impair the man's vision. That's going to make your job in beating him a whole lot easier. And of course, crossface applied right across the bridge of the nose. Great way to produce some blood, get in the head of your opponent, and cause some extreme pain.
See Homicide, yeah, reaching out, makes the bottom rope with his foot. Kingston, though, still in control with that elbow right on the top of the head. Another knee to the midsection, effectively knocking the wind out of Homicide again.
Homicide has absorbed tremendous amounts of punishment throughout his storied career. And I think Kingston's going to have to really throw everything at him if he wants to get the better of Homicide that way. That leaping headbutt, you can see, an equalizer.
Now Homicide with that headbutt took a lot more out of Kingston than I expected here.
Kingston trying to keep Homicide away from you, trying to cover up a little bit, doesn't know where it's coming from, and Homicide's trying to get him back to his feet. That's a mistake.
Don't want to say that Homicide could be underestimating Eddie Kingston, but it could be that street fighting mentality that both these men come into a contest like this with. It could be getting the better of him, allowing Kingston to get to his feet. Chop, you see the look on Homicide's face, just absorbing that shot. Kingston with the shot, out by Homicide.
Intercepted right into the exploder. Exploder suplex, you typically see that applied by Eddie Kingston. Here he was the victim of it.
Maybe that was Homicide's strategy. Lure Kingston back up to his feet, lull him into a false sense of security to connect with that exploder. You know, Homicide in that same vein of so many of these tough wrestlers that'll take 3-4 shots to deliver one huge shot. and they're not just tearing away at the face and nose and dental work of Eddie Kingston.
He had him fish hook there, and then it was up the nostrils, it looked like, and now digging behind the ear. There's a great pressure point to exploit right there behind the ear, if that's indeed what he was doing, but probably just trying to irritate Kingston more than anything. Get him upset, get him out of his game, wait for him to make a mistake. Looking to roll him up here. One of Dr. Wagner's famous moves, of course, a variation of the ground knock. Sometimes you hear this called the Mexican stretch. Homicide's got him all locked up. Fantastic submission hold here. Both arms tied up, putting pressure across the back of the neck. Kingston, he's got to really wiggle his way back. Oh, Homicide gave up on it. I'm surprised. Maybe he didn't feel he could maintain the hold.
Yeah, it looked like he had lost one of the hands there on Kingston. Maybe felt Kingston was trying to roll him over, but instead just dropping those knees right to the base of the neck. Eddie Kingston.
You get out there under those hot lights and start to work up a good sweat, and a lot of times you can wiggle free out of holds just from being that sweaty that otherwise you would never be able to get out of. And who knows, that might have compromised the integrity of the hold for Homicide. He knew it and had the presence of mind to change his strategy.
Now outside the ring, Kingston perched halfway in the ring, halfway out.
Just hanging off the edge there of the apron. Kingston trying to get away from him. He may have hit his throat. Difficult to tell from our vantage. But he may have hit that. He may have hit his throat.
Oh, wait a minute. It looks like he's got the ring, the bell, the hammer from the ring bell. I can't really tell from our vantage point. Kingston, though, fighting it. Bryce trying to get an eye in there to see what he's doing.
I think if Bryce can get a look at this. I mean, they are outside the ring, but yeah, referee Bryce Remsburg all over him there.
Kingston is just so out of control sometimes. When he starts to lose his cool, you know, you stay out of his way. It doesn't matter who you are.
Kingston, you can see here, this is where you don't want Eddie Kingston, the wounded animal, and it starts to set in his mind. He goes into defensive mode. I don't know if he clipped him or not. Bryce Remsburg stepping in here. If that was a foul, Bryce will throw it out. Bryce Remsburg here, I think, really starting to become frustrated as Homicide finding clever ways to bend the rules. They better watch out. I don't think Bryce is going to hesitate to disqualify him.
And a Steve modified face wash in the corner there, knees right to the mush. Going for the knockout here, perhaps.
It's been a long time. I can't even remember the last time we had a knockout here in Chikara. Perhaps today is the day. Kingston knows that all too well, not just from his days as a wrestler, but before that from his days as an amateur boxer. Homicide looking to put him away. He's got a neck breaker. The rude awakening neck breaker.
And Kingston's neck has been the focal point of Homicide in the last several minutes of this contest. That plays heavily into two huge moves that Homicide has had so many victories with. One, the ace crusher, and two, the drive-by, that modified vertebraker. Takes you upside down and just drops you right on your head. I don't know if he'd be able to get Kingston up for that, but if he could, Kingston's weight coming down on that already damaged neck.
Homicide's so deceptive in that way. You know, you can see Kingston is both taller and heavier than him, but if you've watched Homicide over the years, he's picked up giant men and delivered those killer moves to them, and I don't think Kingston will be safe. And really, if Kingston's strategy maybe had been to take the legs out from Homicide, in that way, whoa! Leaping, swinging DDT!
All of his momentum used to drive Kingston's neck in the ring here, but no avail. Can't keep Kingston down. Kingston kicks out.
And you saw earlier, of course, when Homicide was working on his arm, he compresses the spine with a move like that DDT, and Kingston loses feeling in his arm. The match is all but over. You got a one-armed man. Face crusher.
Went to hook the leg, didn't get a full grasp of it there. Kingston still, as we've seen throughout the calendar year of 2010, has still got a lot of fight left in him. Homicide here could be a little frustrated with what he's trying to do. Kingston, though, went for the back fist, got it blocked.
Double arm block and the small package there to Homicide. Yeah, couldn't keep his weight centered over the shoulder blades, and that was the difference maker there. You can see the momentum was rolling as he tried to apply that inside cradle, and he could not keep Kingston down. He succeeded with a double arm block of the back fist, but could not find success with that small package.
Oh, and Kingston appears to be bleeding from the ear. I'm not sure if it's behind the ear, but it looks like a little bit of blood there.
That's bad. Blood coming out of the ear. That is a bad sign. Who knows, maybe that's where Homicide was biting him earlier in the corner.
Kingston working himself back up to his feet. And Homicide boots him right back down.
Homicide really enjoying goading Kingston, and I think he'd best beware of the raging bull. Once Kingston is unleashed in that ring, there is no stopping him. It's going to be a flurry of strikes, and Homicide will have wished he'd put the man away. Hooking him up. Possibly a brainbuster? No. Snap, suplex, looking to roll it over. Looking to take him for a ride the second time. Will there be 3? Homicide rolls once again. Sequence of suplex, sometimes called the 3 Amigos.
Kingston put on the brakes, though.
Trying to break him down with the Wakita Gatame. Cannot get him. Homicide knows the escape, of course. He tumbles forward to take the pressure off. He boots Kingston square in the face. Homicide looking to put him away.
Gets his 3rd suplex that he wanted.
Homicide really taking his time here, Leonard.
Very methodical in his pace, as you mentioned, Mike. And, Homicide could be getting a little bit of a false sense of security. He's had a good portion of this contest so far.
He came right down across the knees of Eddie Kingston. Look! The beast is stirring within Eddie Kingston as he staggers back to his feet.
And now stalking Homicide. Not letting Homicide get to his feet of his own volition.
Oh, it takes him right over. Not enough pressure there on that right shoulder blade. And Homicide trying to pull himself up in the corner as Kingston tries to shake off the cobwebs. And he'd better do it quick before the notorious 187 gets back to his feet and turns the tide once again. Eddie Kingston poised to strike Leonard.
Opposite sides of the ring, Kingston had his steam. Homicide out of the way. There's that ace crusher.
He scored with it. He needs to get on top of him and cover the man for the pin.
And he kicked out of the ace crusher. And Homicide is angry. I would want to be the one to tell Homicide that the ace crusher didn't put someone away. Bryce, a much braver man than many.
Homicide here looking once again to go to the top. Whatever he had in mind before did not work. And once again here, he's really just taken way too long. I don't know if he's underestimated Kingston or this is just the cumulative effect of all the punishment Kingston's dished out. But Homicide took far too long scaling the turnbuckle, Leonard.
It's called the high rank district there for a reason. Homicide making sure his footing was sure. Was not allowed Kingston to get the advantage. Going for a superplex here, but Homicide's got the brakes.
Yeah, he's got to come up a little higher if he wants to lift him from that position. Maybe have to scale to the top, Eddie. Homicide face mugs him. Ready to fly. Oh, he caught him with the back fist right in the eye. This is Kingston's best opportunity, but he ran right into a lariat. Both men are down, Leonard. Bryce Remsburg lays in the count. Who will be first to answer?
Kingston looking up at the lights, just now starting to stir. And as you mentioned, Mike, that back fist to the future. Homicide off the top, and you see him there favoring that eye. That could be doing some severe damage to his orbital socket. A number of injuries there. That eye is such a sensitive area.
Even to just accidentally catch someone's finger in your eye can be so incredibly painful in mid-match to have been back-fisted in the eye. If his eyelid starts to swell shut, that's going to be a real difference maker here. As you can tell, both men really starting to expend their repertoire. Kingston laying it in hard, chopping forearm. Homicide with an uppercut. A second one. Looking for Kingston. Who's got the backslide? It looks to me like Homicide has control of the backslide.
Homicide's struggling, though. He's got a wide base. Kingston is fighting it, though.
Homicide swung wild. The backdrop driver by
Homicide's up center of the ring.
Sliding D!
Right
Will
down.
that do it? Oh, so close!
Kingston felt victory. Just that close, taken away. Homicide kicked out a sliding D.
This has got to be wreaking havoc on the game plan of Kingston. Sliding D, which he used at the Cybernetico to pin the biggest man on the roster, Tursis. He just smashed Homicide upside the face with it and couldn't keep him down for 3.
Now Kingston looking for support from the fans here at the Asylum Arena. South Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Kingston to his feet. Homicide slow to his feet.
Oh, a jaw breaker there, maybe right in the teeth or nose, it looks like. Now he's trying to hook him up. This is what we were talking about earlier.
The cop killer Homicide fighting it.
Backdrop. No! Homicide shifted his weight and came out on top. He avoided the impact and crushed Kingston, who's hanging onto the top rope. No contact. There's the contact. Back fist in the future, but will it do it? He got him!
Ladies and gentlemen, the time of the fall, 16 minutes, 33 seconds. Your winner, Eddie Kingston! Ladies and gentlemen, one more time.